UIC. Freedom the people of hell yeah. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand.
Okay, so you guys are live now. So welcome everyone to another UIC Liberty TV production. Today we are actually on the grounds of the Liganic. To me, on location here today are some people hiding in the background like Mr. Clark, Pablo, hide on the background there. And come in, Pablo. Heal up the people and fund the live.
Okay, maximum respect to each and every one.
There you go. So that's Pablo, everyone. And with me today, we also have the good old Andrew Carey, former vice president.
The vintage boss.
The vintage boss, that's right. Where's your vintage thing again? What do you have to know?
Backyard, that's 20 Burlington Avenue.
All right, backyard, 20 Burlington Avenue.
Every Sundays.
Every Sunday, at what time?
From 3 p.m. until.
All right, from 3 p.m. on Sundays until. So for those of you who do have any work to go to on Monday morning, you know where to go. But I also have, and by the way, Andrew here is the candidate for
Waterford Division.
Yes, so he's the council candidate for Waterford Division, and he's very active in his community, well known and well beloved by the people. So you can be assured that we're going to have a winner in the next election. We also have right here beside me a lovely lady. I normally call her Jasmine, but her name is really Jasmine Powell. And Miss Powell is from the Augusttown
community.
Yes, the Augusttown community. And tell us about yourself.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine Powell, and I'm a member of the United Independence Congress, in which I am the parish manager for Kingston. I am really excited about being a member of this movement because I think this movement has the answers to a lot of the problems that Jamaica is facing right now. And I am here as a member, as a supporter. So you out there, just come on all on board.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Miss Powell.
Hey.
Respect. So, Andrew, what one is in Waterford? Tell us what one in Waterford.
The people are very much upbeat as to say, hey, when are you going to kick off officially? But I'm saying to them, yes, just go on, hold the same temperament and everything. But, as everything, timing and all that.
Right.
So I just touch base with them just to keep the momentum going, but to take it to another notch.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time, when certain things in place.
Absolutely.
But they are rearing to go.
So tell us.
Ask Pablo.
Yeah,
He's in there. He's one of my managers.
Okay. The good thing about it, at least, we have a secure barn, grow, in water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one correction, not bar.
Migrate. Just like
So make sure you go to the mic. Talk to the mic.
just like yours. So,
Yeah.
our major problem is the treatment of the gully.
Yes.
Mosquito, you understand? And garbage collection.
Right.
I can attest to that.
We are suffering with it.
So if you look in the gullies down there right now, you probably see a lot of garbage piling up in the gully because the garbage is not being picked up properly. So the people end up throwing the garbage in the gully.
Yes.
The rain comes and wash it and back it up.
And then
Mosquito breed because the containers that are there full of water, you have decaying matter and stuff.
Decaying matter.
And all kind of stuff that can cause disease.
Disease.
Yeah.
And Waterford is a dormitory community, very close.
Yeah. Yes.
A dormitory community, very close.
Yeah.
Those that don't separate them kind of.
Right.
And that is an indication that any outbreak of disease, it will affect us very terribly.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Here's the next thing again.
Just think of it. Matter of fact, I think that Waterford is one of the most compact
Yes, man.
community.
High
That's
density.
persons
Yes.
per area.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Nowhere, exactly, because you have over 4,000 odd units for that area.
In a small area.
Small area, which,
Yes.
family members, like multiple family members, so
Yeah.
multiply 4,000 odd units
Yeah,
by the amount of persons per household in that small area,
Yeah.
very concentrated.
Yeah. I mean, I know you have like most of the homes are joined, right?
Yeah.
You have a small front yard, maybe no backyard. Right? That's how it is.
Small.
Backyard and a small passageway, maybe around one side of the
Right then,
house.
called a parkway.
The pathway, in between the home.
But even
And
in
the
that-
homes, you have a series of homes, giant, so it just along
Oh,
the
okay.
stretch.
There's one in the house.
Stretch on this side, a stretch on the other side, then the parkway.
Right. Okay.
Even when the minister of the communist spray, that was teacher on the name.
Yeah.
But there are parties and parties within those.
Those are the critical
Right.
ones.
Right.
Yeah.
But if they would just simply collect the garbage,
Yeah,
B, clean the gully,
Valley.
yeah.
then you wouldn't have a lot of spraying to do.
Problem gone.
Yes. So it's not the spraying so much, It's the collect the garbage, clean the gully, and then you get rid of most of the mosquitoes.
Right, so they're being reactive as opposed to being proactive.
Absolutely. Poor management of the environment. Now tell me something. What about the water problem in Waterford? Do you have a water problem in Waterford?
Yeah, I'm glad you touched that card because I would never experience in the construction.
Yeah.
All of this house where the planners talk about
Yeah.
the development. You cannot develop places like that and you don't have a proper sewage system
Yes.
and water system.
Yes.
Treat up, yeah,
Right. So you have
all
houses but not proper water treatment facility. Yes.
Especially sewage. Recently,
Yeah.
yes, they are trying to do a major overhaul
Yeah.
of sewage. From years ago when I was there, that was an issue. Sewage
Yeah.
backed up
Yeah.
into the toilet.
Listen, from me a boy, from me a boy, I live in Meadowvale near to Gregory Park. Waterford has been having water problem and sewage problem and mosquito problem. And now I'm nearly a big man. And them still have the same problem.
And the amount of house again built there
Yes.
and they don't properly
They didn't
sort
plan.
out these
They didn't,
plan.
they didn't plan for the amount of housing development. They didn't put in the infrastructure to
Right.
support it. So they build houses, but they didn't build the infrastructure to support the houses. But anyways, gentlemen, let's say hi to all of our people online. Big up Craig McKenzie, big up Cool Guy, big up JMH, big up AV Way or what AV. Good to see you on. Somebody said not hearing you. All right, so I wonder. I see the sound here. Let me know if you can hear us now. Good evening, all of you. Thank you for joining. So let's talk about Augustown now. What's really going on in Augustown? What can we do? What needs to be done to make life in Augustown better for the people of Augustown?
Well, right now, I believe, I have seen some of the main issues that faces Augustine right now is the instability of the community, and also there are some
Yes.
unemployment issues
Yes.
because time to time, even just a couple days ago, I actually had two persons approaching me, asking me if I hear of any work because they want to be involved, they want to be employed.
Hmm.
So those are some of the issues.
So high unemployment is a major issue
Yes.
in Augustown, which
Yes.
means you have a lot of young people idle on the streets.
Yes.
They're just
A
sitting
lot
around.
Of, a lot of
They
unemployed
get up every
persons
morning, they
are
have no
there.
work to go to.
Mhm.
They're there during the course of the day. Some of them end up getting into some bad things. Some may end up getting pregnant again and again.
Yes,
So you have
yes.
2, 3, you have a young girl, maybe 19 with 3 children and no job and no experience,
And
that's kind of thing.
sometimes with no baby father
Oh
either
yes,
because they
three different
suffer
baby father.
father.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, no baby father, but
Father
3 different persons involved
persons.
in there.
right.
So now, what's going to happen to those 3 children? Because now they have a teenage mother who is not well educated,
Hmm.
a teenage mother who is not very skilled, a teenage mother with no work experience, and a community with more of the same. Yeah.
Yes, and I said no baby father because you have a lot of children in the community right now who has lost their father to violence.
Ah.
So that is a big issue right now. A
Yes.
lot of children are here without father, and
Mhm.
mothers are not employed. So that is a
So
concern
let me understand this. There are many children there whose fathers have died violently
within the
within the community.
community.
So some of
Yes.
them may have even witnessed their fathers dying violently. Some would have are living with parents who are suffering from the trauma of
Hmm.
their fathers dying violently, and they're now in an environment of violence
Yes.
because maybe even the mother now her temperament may not be conducive for raising a child. And so all of this negativity, all of this negative energy is being transmitted to the children in a community which is depressed, in an environment where the people feel hopeless, and that is coming off into the children who are now going to grow up to become fathers and mothers themselves.
Yeah, and it's really worrying because I have seen because I have a lot of little friends, so children.
Yeah.
Somehow I love the small children, so I have a lot of little besties right around. And sometimes I stay aside and I just observe. And most of the children, even the games they play,
Hmm.
is a cause for concern because the games, they most time you see them imitating. I don't know for the movies or whatever, but
Hmm.
it's all about fighting and firing
Hmm.
after
Hmm.
each other,
Hmm.
and it's really,
I saw a
it,
video the other day, see? I saw a video circulating on Facebook with a teacher asking a student. This wasn't in Jamaica. This was a white child, and the teacher asked the little boy, looks like maybe around, I'm going to guess, 7, 8, somewhere there. And she asked him, what do you want to be?
Oh,
And he
that was.
says, I want to be a murderer.
Oh,
And he
yes,
wasn't even saying it with any degree of shyness.
yes,
He was very outspoken
yes,
and
yes,
very
yes.
upfront. And that he says, I just love to kill people. I want to. And she asked him, what about your family? He said, no, I wouldn't want to kill my family, but other people.
People.
So what
Yes.
about me, your teacher? And he says, okay, I'll leave the teachers out, but I want to kill people. Now,
Yeah.
this is what is going on across the
His
world.
argument was very calculated.
Yes, yes, very disturbing. You know, so what you're seeing in August Town is probably a trend across the entire country of young people growing up having a view that you and I would consider to be very dangerous. For example, many of our young people now don't see getting a regular job as a way out.
Yeah.
For them, scamming is the best way out if they can scam. Now, how do you see that affecting us as a nation going forward? What do you think about that?
Well, that's very disturbing. Right off the bat. Because, as you know, scamming are the type of hustlings,
Yeah,
illicit hustlings.
yeah.
First of all, they are not sustainable and they are to the detriment of the person who involved in them. They does not contribute to the economy. So even if someone is benefiting personally for a time,
Hmm.
but if you look at the bigger picture, the macro picture,
Yeah, yeah. Doesn't
it is
look
a
good.
negative to
Doesn't
the
look
nation.
good. No, yeah. I mean, it also showing that as a people, we are not able, we have not been able to provide enough opportunities for our children coming up, and
Yeah,
this is directly related to bad governance.
exactly.
You
Right.
know, it's government why in the 1990s, for example, we lost 40,000 jobs. It's government why in the last 2 years many small businesses were put out of business. It's government policy.
Yes.
It's not accident, you know. It's government making decisions and destroy small businesses and then leave people without alternatives
Yeah.
and push many into a life of
That's
crime.
true because, truth be told, a lot of those persons, although they insist on going that route, it's not totally by choice, but by circumstance.
Yeah.
Because, in other words, a person has to live, have to survive. And if they see no other ways of meat of doing
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
they're gonna opt for the one that's available,
Yeah.
be
They
it
feel
short-sighted or
hopeless.
not.
They feel stressed out,
Oh,
and
exactly.
you know. What do you think?
Yeah. What I'm trying to say, I don't want to derail from the track.
Yes.
You understand? But noticing something, I attend Natal, farmer graduate at Natal Agriculture School,
Mm-hmm.
JSA,
Mm-hmm.
you understand? And people go to Chicken Park and move the agriculture school from JSA and put
Mm-hmm.
feeding technical police
Yes.
institution.
Yes.
Yes, and I think that was a total idea.
Can you get two
Because
fruit drinks?
agriculture is a
Or
part of
blended
the
fruit punch?
Yeah,
economy.
What do you want, a beer or what?
yeah.
What do you want? Beer? Okay, two beers.
Do you want to try the new 24K?
You want to try the new
It's
24?
like Heineken without the bitter taste. You want to try?
All right, so we're just ordering some drinks at the moment. So beer with us. So two fruit punch and two beers, whatever they want. Yes. All right.
Back to the track. If you go to Spanish Town and look at the AMC market,
Yeah.
Oh, and Spanish
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. 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 Yes.
young gentleman,
Yeah.
and I may call her name, but he's talking strictly about anything about agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
And stop, and they must stop the pen and advise.
Yes.
So, because you have too much people related now.
Yes. Blended.
Here,
Thank
just
you.
locally.
Uh-huh.
Here,
We can
in
address-
Akal was saying, the about the agriculture student, in
Mhm.
which some of them are from go into the police force
Okay.
or migrate.
Yes. No, I don't understand. I don't understand. Why is it that Jamaica, with all the amount of land that we have, we're not a major agricultural nation? Why is that? Why aren't we producing enough agricultural output to help feed the world? In fact, we are importing foods into Jamaica. Why do you think? What's the cause for that? Why are we importing instead of producing and exporting? What do you think, Ms. Powell?
My thought on that is, let me go back maybe like say 10 or even 15 years ago, persons were not encouraged to be farmers
Mm-hmm.
because back then, if you're a farmer, you grow up, mother of children and boys or girls who become farmer. It's like them, no, them and
Look down on it.
yes, yes. So farming wasn't recognized. So as the years passed, young people came up
Mm-hmm.
with it for believe that that is not the way to go. You understand? You have to be a lawyer, doctor, teacher,
Police officer or something,
right,
yeah.
to be
Yeah.
an accomplished person. So as the years pass by, we are realizing how important farming is.
Right.
So I mean, everybody now is trying to push farming.
Mhm.
When if it was pushed from years ago, things would have been better. No,
Yeah, so now
that's my
after we have
view.
failed now, we're now looking at it again. But do you think our school system is designed to bring out the best in us in terms of farming?
Nothing more can be done. I don't think enough is being done. I mean, organizations or persons have tried, by implementing backyard gardens at school for encourage farming, but
Maybe it's the way they're teaching it. Maybe
uh,
the method of, for example, right? Farming is big business. The whole world has to eat. Let me say
Right,
this.
I was gonna come on to
Yeah, go ahead.
It's contrarily,
Yeah.
they're saying that farming and thing is looked down on, but want to be lawyers and all
Yeah,
those
something
glorified.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, for
Everybody
us to
has,
survive, we have to eat.
everybody has a name.
You could
I
have
mean, there's no
millions of money
yeah.
if you not put in stomach, you will
Exactly.
over and die.
Everybody has to eat.
Has to eat. Yes.
That is true, but we at the stage now where we can try and fix it by either from basic school
Yeah,
level,
yeah.
children have to be taught how to eat healthy.
Hmm.
School, some of the schools,
Yes.
I believe, not promoting it because they are encouraging the little snacks, them, the unhealthy
Hmm.
things for the children
Yeah.
eat. So how can the children grow up to think
Hmm.
farming and
Right.
eating healthy is
Yeah.
important?
So this is all a result of government policy. You know that. Everything you see in
Simply.
society is
Exactly.
because of government policy. If you have bad policies, you end up with bad
Right.
results.
And then again,
Yeah.
if we blame the culture of the society,
Mm.
culture is driven by government and
Policy,
leadership,
yes.
very much
It
influenced.
shapes the people. So
Yes.
the Jamaica you see today, the Jamaica that you see today is a direct derivative of the policies of the governments of the past. So for the past 78 years, what they have done is what we have become.
Exactly.
You understand? Yes, my
All right.
brother.
I'm gonna say something, and it's very touching for me.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a graduate from Natal Agricultural School.
Yes.
Our square feet, school, and Jamaica is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the population in Jamaica,
Yeah.
Jamaica Island.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
But you know what is disturbing to me?
No. What?
They are populating the green. I'm not against greenhouse farm.
Mm-hmm.
But how many greenhouse farm we can put up on a piece of land like Jamaica?
Mm-hmm.
They can supply the food chain of people in Jamaica.
Well, let me explain something to you that is very modern. First of all, let's think back to why we're now doing greenhouse farming. The reason we're doing greenhouse farming is that we've messed up the environment. You understand? So now we've created a lot of super bugs in the environment. So now when a farmer could just go out and plant him stuff and it grow with a little bit of impact from pesticide from pests, now it's a massive impact from pests. Because the farming that we have practiced over the last 78 years has created a very pesky environment. So more pests in the environment. We've also have depletion in the soil and so on. Greenhouse farming
Lot
now,
of hazards.
a lot of hazards now. So greenhouse farming now is necessary in order to help to limit the impact of that. Now, if you use vertical farms in greenhouse, you can increase your acreage by up to 10 to 100 times your acreage. So the same plot of land that you used to get, let's say, 1 acre out of, you can get 5 to 10 acres of produce out of it by going vertical.
But I can put it on the land.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
How many small farmer can
No, small farmers can't do it. What we have to do, we have to. They can't do it. They can't afford it. We have to. This is now the raw reality. We must now move to the model of the Netherlands and have mass farms owned by the people of Jamaica. So only people who want to do farming will be involved, but the people of Jamaica will own the land. So we're going to get the dividends from it. You follow me? So you may not do the farming, you may not do any, but now you're a part owner
Yes.
in the massive farms now,
Lots of
massive
land.
greenhouse.
Yeah.
And the land now is owned by you.
You.
You all have a share in it. That's the
Yeah.
UIC model. So every Jamaican become a shareholder in the land because all of this land belongs to us. A lie them lie and thief them thief. Why we not have the land? So we're going to give back the land to the people, but we're going to do it responsibly. If we were to cut up the land and give everybody a piece of land, it would be very inefficient. They would not produce enough and they would not do it well. But what we're going to do now is have mass farms like we have in the Netherlands, produce mass output. The people who are qualified and competent to do farming, they're the ones involved in farming. The people who are qualified and competent doing marketing, they're doing the marketing.
Exactly.
The people who are qualified and competent doing the shipping, the processing, they're doing that. So we're going to maximize now people's skills and competencies and get a massive output.
So it's like a best fit.
Exactly, which will now feed us and export the rest to the rest of the world. You understand me? And you have a structure for that.
do you know
Yes.
that this present system,
Yeah.
this present system, I know at December,
Oh.
if one individual can get a good,
Yes, man.
70%.
Yes.
And the rainbow things are going.
Yeah,
Yes.
there is a whole
Yes.
thing.
And we have to mash that up. The UIC has to change that system so that what we want to do, people, we want to get and make listen, we want to make all Jamaicans property owners on two levels. Level number one, all of us must own the land in Jamaica, not the government. So you and I must be shareholders in the land. That's number one. Number two, we need mass organic food production engines, which is massive amount of farmland which are being wasted right now or not being used properly right now or being turned into thank you very much, my dear. Or they're being turned into oops, I was gonna give you that. Are being turned into housing. We need to take those away from housing and put them back on the farm production, but not simply giving poor people a piece of land to go struggle with. Give them a solid production opportunity whereby those who can do farming are a part of the business structure to do it, and those who can only be owners, shareholders, you're just shareholders, and we all share in the profits from these lands. The other thing that we're going to do now for citizens is all of those people who are in the ghettos and squatting communities and in the garrison communities, erase all of that and put in some lovely Singaporean style condominiums, move them all into these upscale building. Make sure it's a mixed building so we're not putting all the one type of people in the same building. Make sure that they have the amenities for them to enjoy a good and decent life and build the whole country that way. I tell you something, after we're done with this thing, both Michael Manley and Siaga would be proud of what they see when we do this. They, yeah, man, they'll be proud of when they see what we're about because we're going to do what they kind of. I saw in glimpses of them that they wanted to do something good in glimpses, but you need to know how to get it done. And the UIC now has the know-how and the vision
And the will.
and the will to get it done. And our people have now learned.
Will is very
Yes,
important.
and the people have now learned that they've experimented with a bad system for 78 years, and the time has come for a new system.
And Mr. Patterson,
Yes, sir. By the way, cheers, everybody,
respect wise.
to a new Jamaica.
I mean,
One Jamaica, stronger together.
The good thing about it, I've been struggling for years. Construction is my work again.
Yes. Yeah,
Building construction.
yeah.
And well, there's a thing that hurt me so much.
Uh huh.
You understand? There's a thing that hurt me so much when I hear my good friend, not part of a good friend, I know I think that voice. Yeah. When it talks that there's no skilled worker here, might be import workers, things like that. That is not the point.
Hmm.
Look here, we don't have on a GCP.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but I was a lot of construction workers.
Absolutely.
And when we then put the plan in front of you and see, you don't go by the plan.
Yeah.
You have add and subtract. And then we were the best.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you. Let's tell people why the Prime Minister is talking about a lack of skilled labor. The Prime Minister has made agreement with his Chinese partners and others to get money on the condition that he allows them to bring their people in.
simple.
That is all.
Simple.
And so what the Prime Minister is doing is trying to fool we to them, fool we and fulfill what he has committed to the Chinese.
Yeah.
So all he wants to do is to make us believe that we don't have skilled labor to match the market. We do have skilled labor. Yes, we have some challenges with some of our people who don't have good work ethics.
Right.
But that's a different issue.
With them.
And guess what? It's an issue created by you. So don't punish Jamaicans for the problems that you create. Fix the problem and do not sign any deal which requires you to replace Jamaican workers. Let us protect the Jamaican worker 100%. Baba Tunde, where the boss? Come into the thing now. Come say a few words, man. The people want to hear the dread.
We are not the type of people
Just
who want
pull a chair and try
demonstration
and
and
squeeze
strike,
it.
you know. I don't put
All
up on
right.
All right,
Kiss up.
respect. Push your head over. Yeah.
all the demonstration and
Yes,
we are
man.
not agree with it.
Yes. Yes.
I think our heads are with children.
Absolutely. So let's hear what the Rasta have to say. Go ahead, Rasta.
Alright, yeah. Greetings to all great people of our sacred planet. All positive united respect. We're there. This part of the program called Setup.
Yeah.
So for an event, you have to set up everything before the day.
Mhm.
For it would have been great to be on the live persistently, but it's not feasible at this time because we're going forward tomorrow. If the sun starts burning on and nothing set up now.
So what going tomorrow? Tell me what going tomorrow.
All right, so what we're in preparation for now is the Workers Unite Rally and Job Exposition 2022. That is a primary response to the lies the Prime Minister come tell the nation of almost 26 days ago that we don't have enough certified skilled workers. And so the United Independence Congress, just like we did on the 22nd of September 2021, we are out again in defense of the people's rights. Always remember that. The UIC.
It's about the rights of the people.
Right. Not even the unions. The unions are bought out.
Yes.
The UIC cannot be bought out. And we're here again defending the rights of our people. So we no longer have to sit down and wonder who will come to advocate on the people's behalf. We already know so the UIC is here. We're in high gear. We're setting up nicely and so on. So all you need to do, put on some clothes, get your bus fare, make sure you have your water, you rehydrate, eat some food, forward out, Ligani Club, New Kingston. It's 5 Knoxville Boulevard, New Kingston. So nothing I hear about the Ligani Club for the first time.
So big up the Ligani Club. Big up the Ligani Club. Yes.
Right. When you come which part, the Emancipation part there, you walk come up on your left hand side, going like you go towards a Cactus nightclub, or better yet, Chris Gale, which part Chris Gale place there. Like you walk into that direction. It's on your left after you pass the Emancipation Park, in close proximity to the Avis car rental. All right? So, and of course, numbers there. All of the numbers them listed when you can call through to get further information and direction and so on. So the UIC do it. So just up to Uno now for forward out in the numbers and come support, walk with a piece of certificate. Yeah. Register those of you who don't get for register online.
UICJamaica.com.
Yeah. So you
or the
can
phone number. Call the phone number.
You go to the Facebook page. If you go to any Facebook, just go up there and you type in
UIC Jamaica.
UIC Jamaica. You see the information. You go Instagram, same thing. You go Twitter, same thing. You go TikTok. Not the dance now, but the actual site. And you see the UIC event. Yeah, the poster is all done up. It's there. It's up to Uno. Yeah. So stand up with you like how we are stand up with you now. We start 9 a.m. and we'll go up until when it's done.
Yes. So what your tagline again? What's the tagline?
Don't just strike, protect your rights.
Exactly.
Protect your rights.
Yeah.
Don't just strike, protect your
NHD,
rights.
NWC, tanker driver, teachers,
Firemen,
fire people, yeah.
Once you're a Jamaican worker,
Police,
yes, all workers,
people that work at MP,
public sector, private sector, you name it. Our goal is to protect all workers, all Jamaicans, all the time.
Yeah, so we have to excuse now again.
Come on.
Set up mode now.
Yeah, man. All right.
We have to make sure the brand is on show, UIC, so we have to make sure we present properly. So see the item at sunrise, protection.
Respect.
Big
Respect.
up.
Big up. All right. Good. So there you have it, my friends online. Good to see Lion Rule all the time.
There's an issue.
Oh, and she's gone.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. All right. Take over for me, Mr. Carey, while I make a quick call here. We were talking about the skilled workers situation.
Oh yes. So naturally, Jamaicans are very much inclined to take on any task, any skills. Yes, I agree that there are some challenges with the formal training, but there are institutions in place to deal with that. Again, so if we harness those to the natural knot and the skills, route them through the formal process, we don't have to go to that route to import.
Absolutely. So, and if we have to import, I want us to import like Singapore. Do you know what Singapore has to import? Singapore has to import low skilled labor
Yeah.
because all of them people that take up all of the high school,
Right.
they don't have enough. They don't have enough people to do the low skilled work because all of their people are well educated, well trained, and well paid. Can you believe that Singapore doesn't have minimum wage? So there's no minimum wage law.
Interesting.
They have never had a minimum wage law, and all of them people are earn big salary. How is that? Because they focused on the right things. They focused on building a strong economy.
Yeah, and I guess the strategy to that is for
Yeah.
persons to earn
Yeah.
on their potential.
Exactly.
And that now will motivate persons to go to their full potential. Because when I capture like a minimum wage,
Yeah.
some people are going to become complacent
Yeah.
and say this is what they are worth
Yeah.
and will never go beyond that.
We teach people here to expect a minimum wage.
Yeah.
You must never want to train your children to look for minimum wage. You must want to train them to earn to their maximum potential.
Yeah.
Their maximum potential. And your max is different from my max.
Yeah.
And your max is different from his max. So that everybody find their own max.
Yeah.
You don't want government setting no minimum wage. You want us to find our own maximum. Yeah, you're going to say something.
Yes, sir. One concern, or a question.
Yes.
I ever since I started listening to your I call it teachings.
Yeah.
And then because I never know about Singapore
Yeah.
and the country that it was versus what it
It
has
is now.
become
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And I am saying, why is it? What is different in Jamaica? Why Jamaica can't be
Like that.
Singapore?
Yeah.
Why? What is stopping Jamaica?
Go ahead,
Simple.
Andrew. Mhm.
Leadership.
Simple.
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 Leadership.
Leadership. We were blessed with the worst leaders on the planet.
Best
Forgive me.
country with the worst leaders.
Wow.
We have just not, I mean, simple things, Ms. Powell. For example, Singapore started off with one basic premise: they will not tolerate 1 ounce of government corruption.
Yeah.
That's the number one premise.
Zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance of political corruption. And so any politician caught in a corrupt act pays the ultimate price in Singapore. So they start from the top down. That's a UIC approach. We deal with the top down. You want to fight crime? Fight it top down. You want to build an economy? Build it bottom up. So the UIC now realize if you want a rich nation, build the people from the bottom. If you want to stamp out corruption, attack it from the top. Because if you get rid of the kingpins of corruption, if you get rid of the kingpins of crime, then you don't have it being diffused through the rest of society. Because you stop it at the top. Who you think is arranging for the guns to come in? It's not the guy with his pants dropping off in bottom. He's just a pawn. He's just a pawn. He's being used. A bigger force is there. Somebody as big as maybe a prime minister, maybe a minister of security, maybe some big public sector worker, but it's not the small man. The small man is always a pawn. So if we find the big man them who are bringing the gun and the ammunition, if we find the big man them who support the dons and give them contracts and give them special arrangements, if we eliminate those main persons, you broke up the system.
Problem solved.
You understand me? If a young man in Augustown can't get a gun, him can't shoot a gun. If there's no more ammunition coming in illegally, he won't have any ammunition to bust. No bullets to bust if him not done.
I'm come to think of it, sir,
Yes.
Jamaica does not produce guns or ammunition.
Mm.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You live in Augustown,
Yes.
and I live a couple block down the road.
Mm.
And I see you go out, and you come back here. And then you come in, I see you driving an I-profile vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
And this one, what I know, why you drive the I-profile vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And we decide to go the trend,
That road.
Yes.
that road,
Yes.
and start to drive an I-profile vehicle on my own.
Yes.
Bigger than yours, why you send the police family.
Yes.
And at the same time, you confiscate my inheritance
Uh-huh.
when you get, even though my inheritance when me I get,
Mm.
not good for the society.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Me have to pay some school bills, some children who are going UIC and
Okay.
thing.
Uh-huh.
I don't pay nobody, you know.
Right.
I don't pay nobody, but you take away my thing. Then when you say,
Something
and you
else.
are teaching money bigger than me.
Something else. Something else. Something else.
You
No, but it's
understand?
a serious problem. I mean, I have always observed it carefully, and I do realize that much of Jamaica's problem stems from corruption in various forms, all kinds of forms, and it begins at the top. When Lee Kuan Yew became prime minister, he got all of his ministers to wear white. Seriously, you know, everybody must wear a white suit, and him say a suit mustn't dirty. And it was just it's a symbol he was setting.
Yes,
It was
yes,
symbolism.
yes.
The symbol was we're going to run a pure government. Jamaica has not had one leader who has done something as dramatic and important as that. Once you stamp out corruption, you free up the tax dollars now to go where it should
So
go.
go.
So your education system can be built. So in Singapore, their next big move was to make sure their kids are brilliant. We do not produce brilliant kids. We sabotage our school system. We have shift systems where the child get poor tuition time.
Yeah.
We have teachers who are not trained to their full potential. For years, Jamaica had teachers who in the classroom teaching who were not trained properly to teach. Or a basic school system. We destroy our children from the basic school. Because if you have your 3-year-old from 3 to 6 being taught by somebody who does not understand mathematics and is beating them and roughing them up and driving the fear of math into them, they carry that fear through to primary
Yeah.
and high school. And by the time they graduate, they barely know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide because they learn to fear mathematics as opposed to mastering. And if you don't master math, I'm telling you this, it's just a fact. If you do, listen, for you to succeed in life, you need some basic things. Number one, you need to be able to read with understanding. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
If you cannot read with understanding, I mean, read to be able to draw inferences from the material, to comprehend even what the author didn't say explicitly,
Yeah.
but what he said implicitly,
Implicitly.
for you to be able to draw those inferences. If you can't read with that level of understanding, then you're sabotaged in your
Yeah.
growth. Then secondarily now you must be able to analyze. And analysis requires you to be able to look at cause and effect relationship, to be able to see trend lines, to be able to forecast future events based on present
Right.
conditions and past historical
And then
conditions.
based on the net effect, that will guide you
Exactly.
to
To make
qualified
good decisions.
Yeah.
So if you can't read with understanding, if you can't analyze, and hear what now, you cannot do math. Mathematics is the foundation of economics. If you can't do the math to analyze the difference between two investment options, and by investment I mean any life decision.
Any aspect of life.
Any life decision is an investment. It's
Yeah.
either an investment or a disinvestment. You're either building or you're destroying.
Right.
So if you don't have the tools, the mental tools to be able to read with understanding, analyze, forecast, predict, see cause and effect relationship, and then have the mathematical skills to, for example, present that problem in a mathematical form. Why is that important? Because life is filled with variables. So you must be able to see, okay, I have two or more variables. What are the mathematical implications of this? For example, is it wise for me to buy a house and have a 30-year mortgage with an interest rate of X that is going to require me to be paying right into my 65th birthday and beyond? For example, one person will have the mathematical skill to see the real implications of that. Another person will not know. They'll just sign because the person say it's a small loan. So in
Yeah.
the first 5 years, the loan was small because the bank gave you an introductory rate, or maybe the macro environment was such that the interest rate was low. But what happens at renewal? 5 years later, when it now renews, and interest rate is what it's going to be today, which is sky high, you suddenly now realize that the 5 years that you've paid into this investment, you're going to lose all of it now because the interest rate and the payment terms will be way beyond your earning capacity, and you lose the house and lose all the money that you have invested. But that's just one big monetary example. It goes down even to your health. How do you make health decisions? If you don't understand how your body works, if you don't understand how your mind works, if you don't understand human behavior, if you don't understand how to make good choices, you're going to make bad choices, which means you might have huge medical bills in the long run. I'm just giving you some examples,
Right.
of why it is important for us to be well educated. And a nation that wants to build a strong and prosperous nation must invest in having brilliant children, well educated citizens that can make sound, pragmatic, and practical decisions. What do you say to that?
That, that is very interesting, sir, and it makes a lot of sense. But I'm wondering now why these information is not taught in school or passed on.
Yes.
Because when you say about the math, that means math they should be pushing that
Of course.
in school.
You must
So
master
why?
math at every level. If a child does not master mathematics at let me tell you, I studied something in Singapore. Watch what they did. When we were telling our children to memorize math, like memorize your times table, two ones,
Yeah.
two. Singapore's approach, which I totally endorse, you play with math. So you play with the different pieces of shapes and designs
Different
and
variables and all that.
variables, and you actually physically do the math.
Yeah.
And when you physically do it, you learn the first principles.
That's what right.
And when you master first principles, you don't have to memorize.
Right, no matter how it comes,
Yes,
you know it.
no
But when
matter
you
which way.
memorize,
You
can
can't.
twist
Yes.
it, you can throw it
Which
off.
is why when people go to do their
Yes.
CXC exam, their palms are sweating,
Yeah.
they're nervous because they don't know. They're going there hoping, I hope they bring back what I did already on the paper. No.
That's true.
The only way you are bright, the only way that you have truly learned a subject is when you don't need to memorize anything. You understand it.
Understand and appreciate first principle.
Exactly. You
Cannot go
understand
wrong that
you
way.
understand why Pythagoras theorem works. You understand why Euclidean geometry makes sense. You understand what differentiation really means.
Right.
You understand what integration really means.
In other words,
You know,
pure maths.
Yes,
And
and
they
you,
will
and you
also
yeah,
prove that 1 plus 1 equals 2.
exactly.
And
And
you
you
have a series of pages to prove. Bring it
absolutely.
down to first
And you're
principle.
sure exact why does it work? Yeah,
But,
so
you know,
Well, speaking of maths, Sir P was saying that it's important to understand maths
yeah.
because in life we are bombarded with multiple variables at a time. And while he was saying that,
Yes.
important era of maths that came to mind,
Yes.
simultaneous equation,
Yes.
in which you can solve a problem with multiple variables.
Exactly.
If you just put it, structure it
Exactly.
into a simultaneous equation.
Exactly. And you learn
Right,
how
so
to
if you apply
work.
that approach in
Yeah.
life when
Yeah.
different variables bombard you and you just put them down a structured way, you can
Yes.
solve them
Yes.
in one go.
Exactly. Go ahead.
You know what I learned from listening to what you said a while ago?
Yes.
I remember when I was in the final year at Nakalva,
Uh-huh.
cover plant diseases.
Yes.
And they tell you, I know everyone diseases them. When I put out the plant,
Yes.
I could have tell them, go back and tell them, this is that, and that, is that.
Exactly.
Two person go after me, and then just repeat everything that you said. And the third person that way, and change
Everything get
Exactly.
thrown off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you really need to know the subject and
Yes,
not
yes.
and not just memorize. So
Right.
we have built an education system that's built on the brightest student is the one with the best memory.
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 No, that is foolishness.
Regurgitate what they
Yeah.
remember.
The brightest student must be the one who is the best thinker, the one who is the best analyzer, the one who is the best producer, innovator. So we want an education system that produces thinkers, innovators, creators, and inventors. That is a good system, which is why all of the major industries flock to Singapore because when they go there, Singapore had two advantages. One, Lee Kuan Yew was smart enough to make English the standard language. Singaporeans speak multiple languages because they're a country of at least 3 to 4 different racial groups.
Okay.
And so, because of that, in the 1960s, they had serious religious and racial wars. And Lee Kuan Yew had to be the unifier.
Mhm.
So he was the equivalent of us, the uniters. So Lee Kuan Yew united the nation by saying to them, listen, stop fighting over your language. What we're going to do, we're going to make all of your language one of the official language, but we're all going to have English as the standard working language. So he was brilliant. Now, when he was doing that, his fellow ministers said to him, "You're mad. What you do? If you just make Chinese, Mandarin, the top language, guess what will happen? You're going to get the whole of the block of the Chinese because the Chinese were slightly more populous than the others, and that would win him votes immediately." And what he said was, "No, you're only looking at winning the next election. We're looking at making sure Singapore wins."
Yeah.
You understand? So while they were looking like the PNP and GLP at winning the next election, he was looking to make sure Singapore wins. We in the UIC, we cannot afford to become tribal and partisan like them. We must focus on making sure Jamaica wins. So what Singapore has, they're in Asia, they're close to China, but yet still it's the only country in that region where everybody spoke English. So in school, what they did with the kids learn two languages, English and whatever their mother tongue is. So they put both of them. In Jamaica, we could have done the same thing, English and patois. So all of us now can speak patois and we love to talk patois. So we could make sure we have patois properly codified and properly taught, and we embrace it and we love it and we respect that. That's our language. But also make sure we master standard English so that we can compete effectively in the language of commerce, because English is the language of commerce. And so he was wise enough to do that. And that sets Singapore apart. Now, if look at this, if you know English and you're very brilliant, all the major industries will come to your shores. And that's what happened in Singapore. All the major industries came to Singapore, and therefore the Singaporean people have all the jobs in the world. To the point where they have to now import low-skilled laborers to do the cleaning and the janitorial work that they are too brilliant to do. You see what I'm saying? Now, we, my fellow Jamaicans, can do just as good and even better. Just as good and even better. But we have now come to the end of our little show. I want to thank you all very much for being here. Miss Jasmine Powell from Augustown, Mr. Pablo from Waterford, and Mr. Andrew Carey, also from Waterford. And I am yours truly, Joseph Patterson from Jamaica. Respect. Take care. All the best.
All right.
Take care. One Jamaica. One Jamaica. One Jamaica.